If there ever was a drone that gave serious Need for Speed Underground 2 vibes, it would be this, the BetaFPV Pavo20 Pro II. I mean, just look at it. The Night Fire RGB LEDs completely change the vibe of this drone and make it stand out from pretty much every other cinewhoop out there. But that's not the only reason many people love this drone. It flies great, has a modular canopy design, and comes in at a surprisingly affordable price too. So let's take a closer look at the Pavo20 Pro II and why this has become such a fan favorite. Before we dive in, BetaFPV did send me the Pavo20 Pro II for review. However, as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own. If you'd like to check out the drone, I've left links in the description box down below. Now, the Pavo20 Pro II is BetaFPV's latest 2.2-inch cinewhoop, and it sits in a very interesting spot. Because unlike a lot of larger cinewhoops that focus purely on cinematic flying, this feels more like a hybrid between cinematic and freestyle. You can get it with either the DJI 04 Pro or 04 Lite setup. Depending on which version you go for, the weight changes quite a bit. The 04 Pro version weighs around 107 grams without the battery and LED strip, while the lighter 04 Lite setup comes in around 79 grams. Mine comes in around 114 grams with the Night Fire RGB LED strip installed. Even with the heavier 04 Pro setup, this drone still comfortably stays under the magic 250 gram number once paired with the right battery. This drone also uses a pusher style configuration, which helps it give the drone a more stable feel during low altitude cinematic flying and indoor shoots. And powering everything are 3S batteries using an XT30 connector, which in my opinion is actually the sweet spot for a drone like this because you get a nice balance between power, efficiency, and weight. Now honestly, the thing that makes this drone stand out compared to most cinewhoops is the Night Fire RGB LED strip. Because let's be honest, most FPV drones, especially cinewhoops, can look a little bit similar after a while and not having much in terms of color or flare. But this thing has personality. The LED wraparounds the entire frame, and depending on the mode and color you pick, it completely changes the vibe of the drone. I don't know what it is, but it genuinely gives off Need for Speed Underground vibes, especially flying around at dusk or in darker environments. Just make sure you have enough ambient light, otherwise you won't be able to see shit. And what I like is that BetaFPV didn't just throw in one static color either. You've got different colors, brightness settings, speed settings, and around 10 different lighting modes to play around with. I think this would actually look really cool flying alongside friends with everyone running different colors, ripping around together. During the daytime, they still look good, but once the light gets a little darker, that's where this drone really stands to stand out. And honestly, this is what I think a lot of cinewhoops are missing. Most focus purely on practicality and smooth footage, which is important, but the Pavo20 Pro II actually feels like a drone you want to go out and fly. Now, one thing I do wish though is that you can control the LEDs with a switch on your radio, because at the moment everything is controlled via the two switches at the rear of the drone with either a long press or a short press. It's not the end of the world, but being able to quickly turn them on and off from a switch would have been a really nice touch. I hope in future they can add functionality to change these via a radio. Now, another reason I think so many people love this drone is that BetaFPV done a really good job making this approachable, especially for beginners. A lot of FPV drones can feel intimidating once you start opening them up, but this is actually very straightforward to work on. Installing the LEDs is really simple. You basically just double-side sticky tape them around the frame and plug them into the LED board underneath the 04 air unit. Installing the 04 system itself is also really easy as it just clips into the canopy. It's then just 4 screws, rubber grommets, plug everything in, and you're pretty much ready to go. The canopy design is also modular, which I really like, because if you own something like the Pico 2, you can actually swap the canopies between the drones pretty easily. Another nice touch, especially for beginners, is the plug and play motors. So if you damage a motor, you don't need to solder anything. You literally unplug it and replace it, which is great if you're still new to FPV and maybe don't own soldering equipment yet. BetaFPV also includes quite a lot in the box, as well as spare props, antennas, LED hardware, and tools which helps you get flying quicker. Now, one thing I really don't like is these silly little adapter cables. I really wish drone manufacturers would just stick to USB-C, because these things are pretty annoying, especially if you have fat fingers like me. It's not a deal breaker, but it feels more annoying than it needs to be. Of course, none of that matters if the drone doesn't actually fly well, and thankfully the Pavo20 Pro II does. For cinematic flying, this drone feels very stable and predictable, especially when flying low to the ground or in tight spaces where smooth control matters most. The pusher design helps give the drone a planted feel, and it inspires a lot of confidence when you're trying to go slower and more controlled shots. Noise-wise, the Pavo20 Pro II is surprisingly quiet when it's armed and sitting idle there. It's only once you start getting into the throttle where you begin to notice the higher pitched sound from the props. Compared to some other drones, that higher frequency can be a little more noticeable to people nearby, especially if you're flying in a public park or around pedestrians. The good news is that the noise drops off quite quickly with distance, so while you hear it close by, it becomes much less noticeable once the drone is further away. One thing I do like about this drone is the flexibility when it comes to batteries. Now, BetaFPV did send me their latest Lava 2 3S batteries, which I tested alongside some other options, and they were actually the pretty clear winner for me. The 580 mAh pack gave me around 6.5 minutes of cruising and just over 5 minutes of freestyle flying, while the 680 mAh pack, however, managed 7.5 minutes of cruising and just over 6 minutes of freestyle, while only adding around 8 grams. For me, that's probably the sweet spot. The Gepard Storm and GMB 720 packs also performed well, but surprisingly didn't outperform the 680 Lava 2 despite having the larger capacity. So if I was buying batteries specifically for this drone, I'd probably lean towards the 680 mAh Lava 2. The added weight also helps the Pavo20 Pro II feel more planted too. And even with the O4 Pro installed, LEDs fitted, and a battery on board, this drone still comfortably comes under 250 grams. Now, what surprised me most though is how much fun this thing was to freestyle. Now, don't get me wrong, it isn't a dedicated freestyle drone, nor is it trying to be. But for a cinewhoop, it has plenty of power and feels much more playful than I expected. The 3S setup gives you enough punch to throw it around, hit gaps, dive obstacles, and pull out of confidence without feeling like you're constantly asking for more power. And I actually think 3S is one of the reasons this drone works so well. You get more performance than a typical 2S setup while keeping the overall weight down when it comes to a lot of 4S alternatives. Because this is a very lightweight drone, it can get pushed around a little by the wind. On calmer days it's absolutely fine, but if there's a bit of a breeze, you actually notice some wobbling in the goggles. What's interesting though is that most of the time the footage itself still looks perfectly usable, even when you can feel the drone moving around slightly while flying. Now, it isn't perfect. If you're doing things like a power loop and you don't manage your prop wash properly, the drone can get a little unsettled and freak out for a moment before recovering. It's not something unique to the Pavo20 Pro II, and honestly most cinewhoops will do something similar, but it's worth mentioning if you're planning on pushing it harder. Overall, I think BetaFPV found a really nice balance here. It's stable enough for cinematic flying, light enough to stay under 250 grams, and still playful enough that you find yourself doing a little bit of freestyle whenever the opportunity presents itself. Before I get into things I don't like with the Pavo20 Pro II, if you're enjoying this video so far, I'd really appreciate if you give this video a like. It tells me you enjoy content like this, and it also tells YouTube to share it with more people in the FPV community to check this out, or maybe a beginner who's looking for a new drone to start with, and this one is a good one. While you're at it, let me know in the comments what current FPV drone are you flying and why. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. I do plan on making a comparison between the Pavo20 Pro II and GepRC's Darkstar 22. I know a few people have requested this, so if you want to check that out, hit the subscribe button. Now, despite really enjoying flying the Pavo20 Pro II, there's a few things that BetaFPV could improve, starting with this silly little adapter. I know this isn't exclusive to BetaFPV, but I'm really not a fan of needing an adapter every time I want to connect the drone to my computer. The connector is quite small, it's a little fiddly to access, and if you've got fat fingers like me, like I mentioned earlier, you probably find yourself reaching for a pair of tweezers from time to time. It's not a deal breaker, but I would much rather see manufacturers move towards USB-C as standard. The second thing is the LED controls. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Night Fire LED system, and I think it's one of the standout features of this drone. But all of the controls are handheld through two physical buttons on the LED board itself. Personally, I would have loved the ability to control the LEDs from my radio, even if it was just turning them on and off from a switch. That would have made the feature feel much more integrated into the overall flying experience, and well, that's pretty much all my negatives. Everything else largely comes down to understanding what this drone is designed to be. So after spending some time flying the Pavo20 Pro II, I have a pretty good idea of who this drone is for. So if you're a beginner looking for your first FPV drone, this is a solid option. It's relatively affordable, easy to work on, easy to maintain thanks to the plug and play motors, stays comfortably under 250 grams, and has enough performance that you won't outgrow in a few weeks. It's also a great option for anyone who enjoys cinematic flying but still wants something that's capable of a bit of freestyle when the opportunity presents itself. And if you're someone who likes having a bit of personality in your drone, the Night Fire LED system genuinely makes this stand out from almost everything else on the market. And honestly, I think that's why this drone has become such a fan favorite in the FPV community. So, would I recommend the BetaFPV Pavo20 Pro II? Absolutely. And I think the reason comes down to something quite simple. Most FPV drones today are good, however, they all start to feel pretty similar. The Pavo20 Pro II still gives you things you'd expect. It's lightweight, under 250 grams, respectable flight times, shoots great footage with the 04 Pro, and is beginner friendly. But what makes it stand out is that it actually has a bit of personality. If you'd like to check out the Pavo20 Pro II, I've left links in the description box down below. These are affiliate links and they do help support the channel at no extra cost to you, and it allows me to make more videos for you guys. For now, check out this pocket rocket here, otherwise YouTube recommends this video.